I'm at a music festival. Nickelback's playing some photo song. Listen. Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh.
Look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. What the hell is on Tommy's head? What the fuck does that lyric even mean?
I don't think that was the exact lyric, but close enough.
Sammy, Johnny's head.
John, I forgot what it is.
Joey's head. It's Joey's head.
What the hell is on Joey's head?
I remember the first time we kissed. That's something on my list. Then I met Avril Lavigne and married her somehow.
Oh, yeah, he did. Forgot about that. Chad Kroeger.
Yeah, so tell us about your festival experience.
Total butt rock festival. A festival that I normally would never find myself at, but had a bunch of friends going. And Nickelback and Shinedown were the big co-headliners.
I'm staring down the barrel of a 45.
Which they didn't play, by the way.
Can you pull up the
set list?
The set list that they did? Because I toured with Shinedown for a minute. Oh my God, did I tour? Oh my God, I was on the bus. Holy shit. What happened in the bus stays in the bus, but oh my God. There might be some groupie stuff on the bus that night. It was pretty crazy. And $1,000 bottle of wine was cracked open that night that we drank out of Solo cups.
So Shinedown set, I wasn't really stoked on. I don't care that much about them. I mean, honestly, I kind of left their set realizing they don't have as many hits, like big hits, radio hits that I thought they had.
Before you get to the set list, I do want to give people a quick rundown. We're going to do this intro here. We're going to talk about book 2 real quick. I got some 4x6 project update. Something real quick with Fun to Photographer, but we've got a ton to talk about with the Gordon Parks Foundation dinner that we attended. You know, it's like a $3,000 ticket event or $100,000 for a table for some people. We've got also the Fuji Half X thing to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And the Sony FX2 rumors. So there's a lot of photo newsy stuff that we're going to get to quicker than normal, but we do want to just start with Steven's butt rock experience.
So this festival was called Boardwalk Rock. It was in Ocean City, Maryland. The headliners, again, were Nickelback and Shinedown. 3 Days Grace played, Alice Cooper.
Hey!
Oh my God, I'm never going to get through this.
What other song? Who? Alex Cooper?
Alice Cooper.
Oh, Alice Cooper was there still?
Correct.
Wow.
Brett Michaels, your boy from Poison. Candlebox. Night Ranger. Good old GTA soundtrack. Crossfade, they're back. Dorothy, I don't really know them.
Dorothy, Nick Perry used to play with Dorothy around the world as a fill-in.
Blackstone Cherry, Lit, Fuel, Saliva.
Blackstone Cherry, that's a name blast from the past I haven't heard in a while.
I mean, most of these names are blasts from the past.
Saliva, click, click, boom.
And I realized that a lot of these bands don't have the original singers anymore, like Saliva. I think they got a new singer back in 2011, and that was
Josie Scott.
The guy. He did great, don't get me wrong. I mean, we didn't even know until after the fact that it wasn't the original guy. They played, we didn't catch Fuel, because Fuel is basically a cover band now. They have a new singer that sounds nothing like...
give me fuel, give me
Brett
fire,
Scallions,
give me that which I desire. Brett Scallions?
Brett, that's it. Lit, they were pretty solid. Crossfade, this was only their, I think, third show back in like 15 years. Candlebox, we barely saw. Brett Michaels, we really didn't see. 3 Days Grace, weird situation there because the original singer left in 2013. They got a new guy that sounds just like the original singer, but a little more high pitched. And now the original singer came back at the end of last year, and they're both like dual singers now. It's really odd, but they sound the same. I mean, the original singer sounds way better in my opinion, but it's very weird.
Hit me with the Shinedown thing before we move on. Like the list of the Shinedown songs.
Set list from them. Dance Kid Dance.
Never heard of that
Asking
one.
For It.
Haven't heard
Cut
of
the
that.
Chord.
Nope.
If You Only Knew.
What?
Devil. I know, I'm telling you, I didn't know any of these songs. How Did You Love? 365. Enemies. Diamond Eyes. A Symptom of Being Human. Fly From the Inside.
That's an old school one.
Yep.
Fly From the Inside.
Planet Zero, Monsters. They did a 3 Doors Down cover because 3 Doors Down was actually supposed to headline this show. They backed out because the singer got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Simple Man, they played their cover of Leonard Skinner. Sound of Madness, big one, and Second Chance, a big one. It basically ended on their big 3 songs.
But they never played 45,
Didn't
which
play
was
45.
first album.
Yeah.
And they did play Simple Man, though.
They did play Simple Man, yeah.
Now, when I was on the road with them, we had a radio station show to do. And listening to the fuck's his name? Brent Smith. I had to think about it for a second. Listening to him belt out whatever song he was singing was incredible, acoustic. It was awesome. He had such a powerful voice. I'm not sure how it is now. I'm not sure how he gets through it all, if his voice has gotten better, if he's in better shape. But I know he went through a rough time for a while. But he was a freaking powerful singer. But I don't know 9 out of 10 of those songs at this point.
I didn't know any of them. Now, I'm also not like a huge, massive Shinedown fan, so I only knew the last few, and that's about it. I was just surprised I didn't hear 45. And then Nickelback obviously had a billion singles that they played.
Yeah.
They crushed it, as expected. Dude, the sound system they had there, this was on the beach in Ocean City. They had speakers every 100 feet going back, 1,000 feet. So no matter where you were, it was so damn loud. I could barely talk to somebody and I was 600 feet away from the stage, pretty far. I mean, we had a good time. It was a beautiful day. Just again, it's not usually a festival that I would find myself at with these kind of bands, but can't deny that they've all got massive singles and hits from back in the day
For
that
sure.
you can easily sing along with.
All right. MovingOn.org. Book 2 has landed. I believe last week when we were recording, it was not there yet. And then after the show, somehow they're like, it's coming today.
Yeah, we were hoping that it wasn't going to arrive as we were doing the show.
Actually, I don't think it came that day. I think it was supposed
was
to.
the
And
next
then they're
day.
like, we couldn't get a driver. Okay, you're a delivery company.
Yep.
But whatever. Regardless, it showed up the next day. I did get it. It came with 11 skids, 2,000 books, and it weighs in at 10,000 pounds. Thankfully, my brother's workers, because they do lighting, were doing lighting at the warehouse, and they waited around with me. And I had a pallet jack that a friend dropped off, so we were able to make it easy on the delivery guy who would get it off the truck with the lift gate, move it to this area. We'd put it on our pallet, and then we'd load it up into the studio, into the warehouse.
Did he give you shit at all? Because I know they kept saying, well, it's not in-home delivery,
No.
so we're going to just drop it off on the street.
Because we had him drop it off on the sidewalk. We got it up on the sidewalk with help. We pushed it up over the lip. It wasn't a full sidewalk. It was super old school, kind of a curb cut sort of. We got it there. He would lower it, go back onto the truck. We would move the pallet with our pallet jack so that he was already moving to the next one. And it took about 35, 40 minutes to do, which wasn't bad.
How was it going up the ramp? If you only had yourself.
It would have been very hard for me to pull that
Yeah.
up my ramp. Now with the two people, me and another guy pushing and a guy pulling, super easy.
Of course, yeah.
Just get the legs working. We got it moved. We got it nice and organized. And then I started the process of I have to unpack all the books that need to be signed because every book is shrink wrapped. You have to shrink wrap it because it's traveling from overseas. You want to protect it from as much anything as possible. So I had to unwrap every book. I got some help from a kid named Henry, who's local. He goes to Drexel. I met him. He came to the boot camp, and then I hooked him up with some gear from Fun the Photographer because he's just. I gave him a camera, gave him a 500 f4 so that he could shoot his sports because he did a good job. Not a good job helping me, but I gave this to him before. But he offered help when he saw me post. He's like, I can stop in. I was like, that's what I like.
That's nice.
And
yeah.
so he helped me. We got our assembly line down. I did it in these are all the book 2 by themselves. These are the early bird specials and the whatever. So all the stacks are ready. I'm just waiting for one more thing to come in the mail today and then I'm going to get the labels printed, and then I go to town packing.
How long do you think it will actually take you to pack book 1 all the way to book whatever?
I don't know.
Until you finish.
The thing is, we probably should have put the rewards in the books as the books were open when I was signing them.
Yeah, I figured you were doing it all one complete book, moving to the next one, completing that book, start to finish the book from signing it, putting the reward in, getting it ready to be shipped and packing it.
No,
and then
that
moving
takes
to the
too
side.
long.
Well, but it takes even longer doing what you're doing.
No, it doesn't, because they all needed to be signed.
But you're doing it twice.
I'm not doing it twice. We had to undo it. We had to sign it. They're all in stacks so that everything can go much quicker. I can literally get the folded box, put the 4x6. I can put all the rewards right there as needed. right then and there as I'm packing. It's a flow that gets much better. That's it.
I don't understand how it's not longer doing it the way you're doing it, but
because I wasn't prepared the other way yet to put. I didn't have all of the 13 by 19s done. No, yeah, but there's only 130 some of those out of the 600. So all the others are just, I can put the 4x6s right into the pack, right into the box, or I could put them in the front cover. It just depends on how I want to do it.
I got you.
You just got to get into a flow because,
I know.
And it's also an empty warehouse over there. So I brought a desk over from my house. I got help to move that over.
You've got all the room in the world in that warehouse.
I have a lot of room, but I also need, there's just some things I need to do just to organize and get into a flow. And that's why I might have Henry come back or someone come back in the morning and just start putting certain rewards where they need to go. And then I go like, here's a stack of 5. I box those, boom, a stack of 5, boom. Like everything's waiting and ready to go. That's the method I need to do. So the idea is that I hope to spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, I guess Monday's a holiday too. So Monday at some point and get as many. I think I might get through it, but I want to also make sure I get all the labels printed. It's a whole thing. And because there's still 60 people that haven't even updated their address. Oh. And then I have to personally reach out to them or someone has to reach out to them to be like, if you want your reward, you kind of need to give me your address. So the next step is you have to send them a message and then they say so basically those get pushed to the bottom of the pile because I'm not going to focus on reaching out to people until I get the other ones out of the basically 500 out of the 560 something if there's 60 people that haven't responded yet.
I want to know how soon can anybody buy this book from, say, the website or
after I get out the Kickstarter rewards, because I don't like when Kickstarter projects start selling the thing before all the rewards are shipped.
No, I figured that, but are we talking like as soon as next week, the week after, months out? What are we thinking?
I don't know.
I saw a couple people text in asking if they could buy the book after the Kickstarter ended.
Not too long after. Well, I'll be promoting the book. I'll be doing a double pack so they can buy the Bernie, because there are people that want both because they don't have both, and you can buy them both at the same time.
Book 1 and book 2?
Bernie book is book 1, and then book 2 is book 2.
So then there will be a triple pack, like a book 3.
I don't want to do another fucking book. There's so much bullshit and work that needs to go into it.
You say that now.
Yeah, I say it now, but it's not like making a preset pack that you sell digitally and you don't have to do any lifting and it's all profit.
Oh, I know.
This is a calling card. This is like a great business card to
Here,
hand
take
someone
this 10-pound book.
to hand someone that book as a business card. Like, you want to mail that to someone, that's going to make an impression. They're not throwing that out. This isn't Steven sending his holiday greetings with his daughter's picture on it that I just open up and I don't even open it anymore. I just throw it right in the trash.
How dare you?
I'm like, oh, this must be nice. That's great. Now what do you want me to do with it? Like, why are you sending me this?
I'll just not send you one next year. It works
no,
for me.
Send it to me.
No, I'm not doing it now. Why? You just throw it out.
Just text it to me. I don't need to see a physical. What am I going to do?
You'll see it like everybody else. I'll just post the picture. You won't get a personal card.
Maybe sending it to a grandparent makes sense and they'll hang it up. But me, like, what? I'm going to hang a picture of little Dan up on my wall? I did for a while when Dan sent them, I think once.
I get usually about, 30, 40 Christmas cards every year.
Really?
With family photos, stuff like that from friends and family. And we have on the door like a little hanging system for all of the cards. So every Christmas season, we end up putting them all on the door for a good 45 days, and then we toss them after the fact.
Have you checked your driveway lately? Is there a Subaru in it? Because that is gay. I'm just kidding. I don't want to offend that. Wait. I don't want to offend the guy who commented and said they don't like our homophobic, that we're homophobic. Anyway, the books are going to go out soon. 4x5 project update. I actually updated my Squarespace yesterday at jaredpolin.com/4x5 project. So it's 4x5 project at Jared, it's Jared Polin /4x5 project. And I put up there 4 of the shoots: a 2024 baseball, then 2024 Fenway, and then one from Wrigley Field. And I also put up my Truist golf photos. And so I'll be sending people links to that on Instagram to check it out, just so you can see the 4x5 project over there.
Do you think you need to put the date, the year?
I want to personally do that because I find that in the future I do baseball 2025 or some other stuff, I like to put the date there myself.
Okay.
I could always change it, but I also like it's the 2025 Truist event. It's not the 2024 Truist PGA event.
Yeah, no, I could just see like baseball, golf, sports categories, and then you go into there and you see all the baseball photos from 2024 to years down the road.
Well, the reason I didn't want to do that is because this is part of it's like a story of that year, and so I keep them together. But I wanted to separate the Wrigley Field and the Fenway Park from the main, or it would have been 100 images in one gallery.
Gotcha.
So, okay, let's move on to the Gordon Parks Foundation dinner that we attended. So over on the Gordon Parks website, it talks about what their mission is, and let's read that. The Gordon Parks Foundation permanently preserves the work of Gordon Parks, which is some of the most incredible work I've ever seen, makes it available to the public through exhibitions, publications, and programs, and supports artists and educational activities that advance what Gordon described as the common search for a better life and a better world. About the foundation, the Gordon Parks Foundation supports and produces artists and educational initiatives that advance the legacy and vision of Gordon Parks, recognized as the most significant American photographer of the 20th century. You know what I like that they did right there? They didn't sit there and say black photographer. They didn't say African American photographer, because he was one of the greatest photographers ever.
Yeah.
We don't need to describe him by being black in order. It's like not like one of the greatest white photographers in all of history. Side note. Anyway, as well as a writer, musician, and filmmaker who used the arts to further the common search for a better life and better world. The foundation was co-founded in 2006 by Parks with his longtime friend and editor of Life magazine, Philip B. Kundhart Jr., to preserve his creative work and support the next generation of artists advocating social justice. So I'll leave it right there. You can find out more at GordonParksFoundation.com. But this gala that they've been doing since 2006 or so is a pretty high-end affair, and it costs a pretty penny for people to attend this event, if you don't get gifted tickets like I did.
Super bougie event for sure.
And that's why we were there.
That's why we were there, yeah, in your half suit attire.
Hey.
You had like two suits merged into one that you were wearing.
Yeah, because if I tried to wear the pants from the original suit, my ass wouldn't fit and my thighs wouldn't fit. Because when I had that thing fitted 7 years ago, I actually went where Noah went. Remember, he went to Indochino. He's like, you should go there to get a suit. So I did. The jacket doesn't fit because my arms and body is so much bigger now.
So you had two different shades of blue that you were wearing. One was like a pure navy blue and one was like a royal blue.
No one would know.
And you had your sneakers on. That was always a lovely touch too.
Yeah, I did.
This is the one event you could get away with because it's like an artsy fartsy event where you could wear kind of whatever you want to stand out, but at the same time, it is cocktail attire and more appropriate to wear like a suit.
I don't give a fuck about appropriate. Especially when you see a guy wearing a pink knitted sweater with a t-shirt on and sneakers, that one guy that we saw.
Like I said, you could definitely get away with wearing anything you want at this event, like even like ripped jeans probably.
Yeah, we're artists.
But most people were showing up like they were attending like an awards ceremony, like the Oscars or something.
Look at me,
really formal dresses and yeah.
I mean, this was a Tuesday night and people were, this Tuesday in New York.
Yep.
So people come out to really show off. There's a red carpet inside where there's like 20 or 30 press photographers from AP and Getty and Vogue and all these other places. And I did not go on the red carpet. There was a line to get onto the red carpet for people that wanted to be like, look at me, look at me. That isn't me. I just went over and got the hors d'oeuvres that were very, very good.
I think if the press photographers have to ask you what your name is, I don't think you should be on the red carpet.
It's a good idea, Stephen.
if they don't know who you are, get off the red carpet.
What I realize is the people that aren't the A-listers or B or whatever are known. They get the pictures, right? They get their picture taken. Then they go on to Getty and then they post it on social to make themselves seem important that they went to this gala, which is anywhere from, and look, I'm not poo-pooing this by any stretch. I'm just saying it is, to buy a ticket is anywhere from like $2,500 to $3,000, and a table at one of these things would go for upwards of $100,000. Remember, a lot of that's a tax write-off for people because it's a foundation, it's an organization. I was lucky enough to meet someone who asked if I wanted to go and then said I could bring a guest. And that's why I invited Steven, and we didn't know what to expect up there.
No.
So, you know.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of those people, like you said, that are posting the photos on their own socials are self-proclaimed famous people, not necessarily truly famous people, like some of them that were there. Do you want me to name some of them?
We'll go over the list in a second. I want to read the article from Vogue.
Okay.
That's right, Vogue.
Oh.
It says Cipriani 42nd Street was resplendent last night. I don't know where they come up with these words. RESPLENDENT. Resplendent. I'm Googling that. Obviously, it probably means opulent, beautiful, gorgeous, nice. Right. Attractive and impressive through being richly colorful or sumptuous. Well, I was richly colorful in my rainbow shirt. But no, see, I knew what the word meant. I've just never seen the word. You could figure it out.
Because nobody says it.
Right. Resplendent last night as the Gordon Parks Foundation hosted its annual awards dinner and auction. A high glamour, high impact evening where fashion, art, music, and philanthropy converged to celebrate Black creativity and the legacy of Gordon Parks. Why was I there then? Was it because of my hair?
I will say, I usually can spot you from a mile away with your afro, and it was hard to find you at that event. Lots of afros.
With 500 people crammed in there.
Super tight space, yeah.
Definitely going to be hard. All right, so I quote, "The night is really about continuing Gordon's legacy, not just for honoring the past, but fueling the future," said Peter W. Kundhart Jr., the foundation's executive director. This year's honorees reflected the wide reach of Parks' influence across generations and disciplines, trailblazing model and activist Bethann Hardison, visionary artist Rashid Johnson, Anna Wintour, Vogue's global editor, director, and Condé Nast content officer. Why do you even need to explain who she is? I guess because it's Vogue. And civil rights icon ambassador Andrew Young. Gordon is a vital part of Vogue's history, Wintour said, dressed in, she got to say what she's dressed in, Fergamo and La Cantator. With the Met's costume exhibition newly opened, it felt like the right moment to accept this honor, a moment to spotlight Black creators and celebrate Gordon's enduring influence. And then a couple more lines here. The guest list read like a Met Gala redo. Attendees arrived in looks by Christopher John, Rogers, Thomas Brown, Awake Mode, whatever Awake Mode is, Vintage Saint Laurent, Dries Van Noten, which I'm fucking butchering this, and Ishansel hats. Rashid Johnson, fresh off his Guggenheim survey, wore a sleek all-black suit from the Row. Meanwhile, Andra Day turned heads in a sharp black Ralph Lauren tuxedo. Other attendees included Stephen Eckert.
Yeah, it doesn't say
dressed in TJ Maxx's finest suit.
Some cheap suit store.
TJ Maxx. And Jared Polin of Frono's photo fame blended right in with his navy blue tight ass pants and his
mismatching suit.
Yeah, well, I put the jacket down real fast, and my Robert Graham rainbow-inspired shirt with, it looks like rainbow vomit.
I don't know why they didn't name the actual celebrities, in my opinion, but the people that I recognized, Gayle King was there, Michael Stipe, who I didn't see there, but you told me after the fact that he was there. Annie Leibovitz. I mean, talk about a big name in the photo industry.
I'm like, Steven, I wonder if Annie will be here. And then
literally minutes later, she walks right by us.
I was like, oh, there's Annie.
There she is.
Yeah.
Coleman Domingo, who I didn't know until this past year. He is in that new Netflix remake of Four Seasons. And then obviously Anna Wintour, like you said. I think Anderson Cooper was supposed to be there. Spike Lee was supposed to be there. Alicia Keys. None of them showed up though, I think, right?
No, Swiss Beats, they said, has been there at every single event, and he just couldn't make this one. They also do an auction. So basically the way that it works is they put 10 people at a table for 6, and they squeeze you in. Your name tag is on there. But let's start with the hors d'oeuvres.
No, let's talk about us touching legs the entire night and just being like, all right, let's just own it.
Well, first off, so I was sat next to Steven and at table 5. The furthest one in the back.
Literally all the way in the back corner.
I was just trying to keep my leg from going into Steven, and I was
Same.
starting to get like some sort of leg pain. I'm like, Steven, I'm just going to put my leg against yours. You put your leg against mine.
just gave
Much
in.
easier. Who fucking cares?
I mean, we were tightening up for like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
But I was very happy with hors d'oeuvres during happy hour. I had numerous tuna tartars, numerous eggs. What are those called? Deviled eggs.
Yeah.
So I had probably 6 of those.
But you told me that night you just got into deviled eggs.
Just started eating deviled eggs.
Like never ate them before in your life.
Nah, never ate
That's
them before
crazy.
like a month
and you're
ago.
a big egg guy.
I like eggs. I don't eat any eggs anymore, though. I don't eat any
Eggs.
I don't eat eggs. Actually, my egg protein is what I drink for breakfast. I don't cook any eggs anymore.
Really?
No, I stopped eating all that breakfasty shit because I find that my protein shake does what I need it to do, and that's how I do it. I don't want to eat all the whatever. This is what I do. Then they had these cucumber cut pieces, thick pieces of cucumber cut with lobster salad put in them. They were lovely. And and then caprese sticks with cherry tomato and mozzarella.
They were good.
That's basically it. And then they had an open bar with the toppest of shelf alcohol you could ever think of. They had about 300 workers there going around.
There were so many servers. I mean, there had to be 50, I'd say.
Steven, I would guess 150 servers for this event.
Not that many.
Steven, I am telling you, I saw a billion
Well, there
servers.
was what? 4 bars, and each of them had 4 to 5 people at each bar. And then just walking around, you had at least 20.
Right, but then there's all the servers that what regardless of how many people are there. I found it funny that when we went to that one bar, I'm like, "Excuse me, why is there a bowl of cheese?" And she's like, I think people like to have cheese while they drink. I'm like, "Oh, would you like some cheese with your wine?" I was like, "Oh, really? It's just crumbly cheese in a bowl?" One, I don't want to touch a bowl. They had chips too, but I'm like, everybody's putting their fingers in this. Do you think I want to touch that?
It was a very
No.
upscale, bougie event for sure.
Yeah, and we were there. And I'm very appreciative to the person that invited me or us. This came from one of the websites that obviously wrote this before the event because they're like, the event drew A-list crowds, including Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz, who weren't there. Spike Lee wasn't there. Gayle King, she was there. Misty Copeland, I don't know who that is. I think that was a Broadway artist.
I don't think
Anderson
she was there either.
Cooper, Dapper Dan. I had to look up Dapper Dan.
He was
fashion designer, though. Good fashion design.
You think Dapper Dan is a fashion designer? That's weird.
Oh, and what was the one guy's name that was there? Hold on. Let me
Oh,
find.
the Subaru guy?
And there was this guy named Legendary Damon wearing I don't even know. It was Dior of some kind.
Think of kind of like an Elton John look from back in the day. I think when he walked by, you're like, he definitely drives a Subaru.
The Subaru guy. Right. So I Googled this guy and he's a doorman somewhere. And so it just seems like there's a lot of people that just go to these events to be seen. And that's about it. Regardless, they raised $3 million. There was an auction at the end where people would raise their paddles. I mean, the first print went for $80,000. We had to go catch our train, and some went for upwards of $140,000.
I was so close to racing your paddle. When we left, I had to like point to you real quick, like, "Hey, I'm over here," and I put my hand up, and I'm like, "Oh God, I didn't mean to put my hand up," but I didn't have a paddle, thankfully. They're like $80,000. I'm putting my hand up.
Yeah. What I should have done is been the first bid in it, the first bid at
Exactly.
something, and be like,
Yeah, I have money.
Oh, sorry. Hey, 20,000. Yeah, right here. Oh shit, sorry, didn't bring a checkbook. Anyway, very happy that we got to go to the event. Glad I was invited. Nice to see it for the only time that I'll probably attend. And anything else you want to add before we move on, Stephen?
Just to bring it back to photography, I noticed a lot of the press photographers had a mix of DSLRs and mirrorless cameras, a lot of adapted like old glass, a lot of like direct flash, some of the worst flash diffusers I've ever seen. I used to do a lot of this stuff, by the way, a lot of like step and repeats, press stuff, because we had the radio station. Every time an artist would come in with one of the radio stations from that cluster, there would always be press photographers there with all types of different gear, and I would be one of them taking pictures for the radio station. So I did a lot of these red carpet type events. Some of their setups, I'm like, I would never have something like that, ever.
Not at all.
Like, I can tell that you're not going to get a good shot with that setup.
Nope.
They're just button pushers at the end of the day. But I will say, you need to know who you're looking at. Like, they know exactly who each person is on that red carpet for the most part. I'm pretty bad with that. If you're not a musician, I really don't know who you are.
Yeah.
At these types of events.
Now that is out of the way, I mean, if you don't know Gordon Parks, please just go look up Gordon Parks. There is a thing on HBO for Weapon of Choice that is a documentary. I find the books to be better than that because the books are all about him. Just read up on what he's done. Incredible.
When you walked into this event, by the way, they had all of the pieces that they were auctioning off. His work blown up to like 3 feet by 4 feet, these giant prints framed and everything. I mean, they looked amazing. Beautiful, beautiful art.
His stuff's incredible.
Talk about an artist, yeah.
All right, now let's move on from that and talk about some of the camera news of the week. We got a Sony rumor of an FX2. Steven is going to go into the rumors of this FX2.
Well, first of all, I don't really fully understand the nomenclature here. Like, I would think that it would be called like an FX4 or something like that, because it seems like this is under the FX3. And with Sony, it's kind of weird because their A1 is considered their top of the line on the stills side, but then their FX9 is kind of the top of the line on the Cine line. So I guess it's backwards.
Yeah, it's backwards.
I just think it should be the same way. You know, either 1 is the best or 9 is the best. Which one is it? So FX2, it's going to fall right below the FX3. It looks like it's going to be a thicker body than the FX3. It's essentially A7C2 guts in an FX3 body. So think of A7 IV, but again, the A7C2 was like a souped up A7 IV. It has the 33 megapixel sensor from that A7 IV and the A7C2. The issue here is that it's not a great sensor when it comes to like rolling shutter. It's not a fast sensor for video work. Now, it is a great sensor because you get that 7K oversampling up to like 4K 30, I believe. But you also have a massive Super 35 crop when you're shooting 4K 60, which again, they're saying it's going to be the same specs from that camera. And then it's going to have the AI chip from the A7C2. It's going to be faster autofocusing, stuff like that. Now, the difference here is you're going to get an integrated tilting EVF, supposedly.
I think that's a mistake. I think they wrote that wrong.
And again, it's supposed to fall below the FX3, and I find that odd that this is going to get an EVF, yet the FX3 doesn't have an EVF.
I said in my photo news that I think they meant to say LCD, articulating, rotating LCD. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but why would there be an EVF in this thing, but not an EVF in the, maybe they expect, maybe the FX2 is something, if it does have a tilting EVF, that they think that people wouldn't be adding a monitor to it?
Or there's an FX3 Mark II right around the corner that has also an integrated tilting EVF. So maybe they realized a lot of backlash from that FX3 without the EVF. So we got to move forward with an EVF with all these cinema models.
Maybe.
Also has 32-bit float audio, which the FX3 does not have. It has a mechanical shutter, which the FX30 lacked, I believe. I think the FX3 has one. Not that many people are using the mechanical shutter anyway on these types of cameras.
Yeah, that made no sense to me why it would have a mechanical shutter. That's why I take those rumors, some of them, and be like, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
My guess is if you're a hybrid creator and you're taking thumbnails for YouTube or something like that.
Why? Who cares? For a thumbnail, you don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, certain situations maybe, but yeah, I kind of agree. You really don't need it. But same ports and storage as the FX3, they're saying. Again, FX3 shell, a little thicker than that with active cooling, and that'll be the new FX2. And they're saying $3,500, which also doesn't really make sense.
It just sounds overpriced for what it is.
The FX3 is $3,900.
Well, that's expensive too.
I just think this needs to be like a $29.99 type camera if you need it to fall in line in that cinema world.
You know me with talking about cinema stuff. It's just like, it just seems like there's way too many choices that are pilfering the other options. It's like, why would you get an FX2 and not an FX3? Or is the FX2 going to have some features that the FX3 doesn't have, but the FX3 too, like you said, might upgrade to?
Well, no matter what, this has to be more expensive than the A7C2, which is $2,200, I think. So it's going to fall in line somewhere around between that and the FX3. But at the end of the day, do you just buy an A7C2 and you're good enough? Like, that also has a mini EVF. It's a smaller body. It has the same guts of this camera.
Guts.
It doesn't have 32-bit float audio, but you could probably get away with it if you're just a B-roll shooter. I don't know. I find it a little odd that Sony recycles a lot of this tech like 4 or 5 years later. You know, at least with the A7 III, they came out with the FX3 almost immediately after, and that tech was still very brand new.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I would love to know how many units sell of these things. I'd like to know the unit economics.
I do think the
behind it.
FX3 is massive. I think that is a high-end cinema camera for a decent price.
Well, and then they had the FX30. Well, how much is the FX30? Do you have that pulled up?
That is $1,800, and that is an APS-C. I believe that's the A6700, basically.
Yeah, I don't like. We were doing a shoot bowling thing, and they didn't have any of the FX3s to send, so they sent FX30s. It's like, I don't want to use a crop sensor camera in here. I want better low light gathering capability. That's the whole reason you get the full frame.
Yeah, I mean, that is where an FX3 will really shine when you're with that A7S3 sensor, you know? Extreme low light.
Then the rumor says May 28th release date.
Announced at the end of this month is what they're saying, yeah.
That's next week. We're the 22nd. So it's potentially could be this week or whatever. If it's the 28th, we'll have to wait and see. And then we'll see if it does have an EVF that articulates and the rumors were right or they just misspoke. Because Canon Rumors has been misspeaking about everything lately.
Well, I don't understand why they're covering every other brand now besides Canon.
Why do you think, Steven?
I mean, clicks,
Views,
clearly.
clicks.
But they never did that before. It was Canon Rumors. We talk about Canon Rumors. That's what it is. And now all of a sudden it's like, let's talk about these other rumors and guess.
Yeah, well, they're just trying to get people to watch, trying to get views, and that's...
Now, this rumor came from Sony Alpha Rumors, though.
Yeah.
Not Canon Rumors.
So that's the rumor for the FX2. I'm sure the quality is going to be as you would expect from Sony. I'm sure the autofocus will be as you expect from Sony. But in the right hands, you can get great results with anything. It still always comes down to that. Give Steven the most basic camera versus someone getting the most extravagant camera who doesn't know what they're doing with it, and he's still going to get better results, hands down. Okay, the big story, which I find fairly fascinating, and Steven's going to hit us with a lot of the specs from this, is the Fuji X Half that has been rumored and teased for a while directly from Fuji and has now officially been announced. We did not have a hands-on. We did not have a briefing.
So weird.
We still get nothing from them. But you know what I'm going to do when we get to New York for the Build Expo event, Steven?
Yell at them.
I'm going to go to their fucking booth and we're going to have a conversation. I hope
and
people
they're
from
be like,
Japan
dude, that's
are there.
Japan. I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope people from Japan are there because this whole like, we can't send you an an RX 100 or whatever it's called, the GFX 100 RF. Which, by the way, I got a call from Brandon at Allen's Camera because I'm like, hey, Brandon, Fuji doesn't send me this. Can I get one from you? And so they haven't gotten a lot in, but he just got one in, and I'm going to use it to review stuff, and then he's going to sell that camera, not as new, but as used by me, and it will sell. Not just because it was used by me.
Extra $500 because it was in the hands of Fro.
That's right. I used it, and I'll leave my RAW files on a card inside. I'll sign the box.
So this new Fuji film camera, like you said, it's called the X Half. It's two cameras in one, digital and quote unquote film. I will say it looks pretty sexy. It looks like a mini GXF 100 RF. It's a very minimalist camera in general. It's got like a thumb winder, a still and movie switch, a play button, an exposure comp dial, and that's basically it. It doesn't even have a hot shoe. It has a cold shoe for mounting nothing, really. The sensor, the optical viewfinder, optical, not EVF, and the screen, they're all in vertical orientation. This is a vertical shooting camera. The odd thing is, if you want to shoot horizontal, you got to turn it vertical. So again, two modes, digital and film. The digital mode has a vertical 3x4, 18 megapixel, 1 inch Type 1 sensor.
No. It has a 1 inch sensor.
I'm kidding. 1 inch sensor, which is actually a little smaller than 1 inch because it crops off a little bit to get that 3x4 aspect ratio.
It's not micro four thirds, which I think was rumored.
Smaller than micro four thirds, correct.
How does it compare to, say, your penis?
So this has a 2.7x crop factor. That's what you're getting with a 1 inch, but it's even more of a crop factor because, again, you're getting that 3x4 aspect ratio, so you're chopping off a little more. It has a lens built in that's meant to match their disposable camera focal length. So it's a 10.8 millimeter 2.8 lens with a leaf shutter and an aperture ring. That gives it about a 35-ish millimeter equivalent f8 with that 2.7x crop factor. But again, it's a little more than 2.7x. No EVF, like I said, rangefinder style OVF, a 0.9 million dot vertical LCD with a secondary screen, which is kind of cool because it shows the film simulation mode. Kind of looks like there's film inside the camera. Thought that was really a unique take on that. The thumb winder is a gimmick, in my opinion, in digital mode. I don't know if you saw this, but it really only gives you 2-in-1 photos when you're using it in that digital mode. So what I mean by that is you can take a picture, wind it, and then take another picture, and that combines 2 vertical pictures into 1 horizontal picture.
Which I think is reminiscent of what they would have done with a
true
negative back in the day.
Half camera, correct.
Yeah, so I'm fine with that.
That is, again, the whole point of that name. Basic autofocus. It actually has eye and face detection in that digital mode. Now, something you won't like, there's no RAW file support, only takes JPEGs.
I found that to be super fucking weird.
Kind of weird because of the price. And the price is $850. And I thought they would kind of offer the RAW files. Like, why not?
Why not? Like, why can't just make it a RAW file? Why not? How much extra? You already have to do the computing to save it as a JPEG. Why not give you? I get the disposable aspect of it, right? It's not disposable, but I get it. But for those people that want it, like I watched some of the reviews out there. There aren't too many, but it's just like they'll complain about some things, but then be like, well, I understand why they did this here, but then you need to understand why they left out certain things as well. I don't understand leaving out RAW.
I don't either. I just figured why not throw it in, but I do understand that they want you to use the new built-in effects, the film simulations. Like they do have these new built-in effects like expired film look, light leaks, stuff like that. You can add bars to your photos to make them like different aspect ratios for Instagram. At the end of the day, though, it's a very limiting camera in this digital mode for that $850 price point. The main reason to use this camera, in my opinion, is to mimic this new film mode. They have a film camera mode. Again, it's a 2-in-1 camera where once you change it into film mode, it shoots essentially rolls of film with film simulations. You can choose 36, 54, or 72 shots per roll with timestamps. You can like burn in timestamps like classic rolls of film. No LCD preview at all. You need to use the winder to advance to the next shot. It's just like using a film camera. You can't even review the photos until you're in the app or on the computer. It keeps them in like a hidden separate folder on the SD card until you develop the roll in the app or on the computer. There's no manual mode at all. Aperture priority or full auto. That's it. No focus modes. Basically full auto. Again, you're with an f8 lens for the most part anyway, so in stacks almost, just taking a picture of everything in front of you. Now, this is where I think they lose people. It has a built-in flash, but it's an LED continuous light. It's not really a true flash, so there's none of that like direct flash look, the fun like second curtain flash shots, all the stuff the kids like these days. That's why they shoot with disposable cameras, because they like that harsh, shitty look, that party camera look, especially with film. They didn't read the room on this one, and I think that's a big thing they left out. They do have a new app for this camera specifically. It's how you develop the film. You can make contact sheets, which is really cool. Yep. You can merge the photos into a single horizontal image, and if you don't want to use that winder, there's a bunch of other things you can do in that app. But it's like using a digital camera and then just blacking out the screen, viewfinder, everything, and hoping the film comes out.
Yeah, so I personally think that's super cool, the film mode. Now, I'm not sure why they don't have rolls of 24, why it starts at 36 and goes to 50-something and 72.
I thought that was odd, too.
You never shot a roll of 72 exposures.
Yeah, and why not 24?
Right, that's what I said. Why not 24 or even 12?
Because also, once you pick your film simulation, once you pick your film roll, you can't switch rolls. Like, you have to wait till you burn your shots in that roll, or say,
you rewind it first.
Or say, I'm done shooting with this roll, and burn the roll.
Yeah, well, I really like the aspect of the film shooting mode, right?
Same.
I don't get anybody complaining about the digital features and it doesn't do this and it doesn't do that when it comes to shooting it like a real camera. I do understand the flash thing more now since we talked about it. On camera flash, like a built-in regular flash would make total sense for all those hipstery. They're not even hipsters.
And you can freeze action. The continuous light is not doing any of that. You're not getting that direct flash look, like all that stuff that the hipsters like.
That's definitely a miss. But I love the fact that you can select a type of film, wind the shutter to take the next photo, not see your results, and then those contact sheets were super awesome. I'm
That's
like,
really
that's
cool.
cool,
Yeah.
right? But it is a not great camera. It is a small sensor. It is a infinite focus lens, basically. You do have some control over aperture, and that's fine. Like, this isn't the type of camera that I would be like, let me change my set, just like with the BF.
Yeah, that's when I would probably buy a legit real film camera at that point if I wanted to go full manual.
I think it's very unique what Fuji is doing. I think it's kind of cool. I love the aspect of you want the analog feel, then shoot it like a film freaking camera. I don't like the fact that it doesn't have RAW. That makes no sense to me. But then again, if I was challenged to use this at a wedding or challenged to use this anywhere, I'm going to come back with solid results.
I think Fuji is making photography fun again.
Wait.
I was waiting for it.
M
P
P
F A.
F A. Mumpha. Fuji's for the
Make
mumpha.
photography fun again.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it could be a very fun party camera or something like that, especially with the kids these days. But they really missed the boat on the whole built-in flash thing, I think. Also, the biggest thing for me is the price. $850 is a lot of money for a toy camera. That's what you're getting with this camera. You're getting a toy camera. I think this should have been $400, $500 maybe.
$399.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like they're Instax cameras. You can get away with, it's literally a toy camera. It's $300, $400, whatever. Even the higher end Instax cameras are only $400 or $500. Like it's very limiting, but it doesn't matter. It's a couple $100.
Yeah.
When you ask for $850, the price of like a quote unquote real camera, that's a lot for people to dish out for something like this, for a very niche camera like this.
But
so
on the flip side, someone who wants to have a talking thing, look cool, that doesn't care about photography really, but wants the feel of the analog, I could see the 20-somethings eating it up. Those kids love, do you know what they love, Steven? Klarna and Afterpay. They love thinking that they're getting something for cheap. So that's 4 payments of $200 that they have to do with their credit, and then they just buy shit like this and use it. But I do think it's a miss without that little flash. You're right.
I just think I'd rather buy like a used XT5 or something like that if I want that retro feel, or the X100. I know it's like double the price, but also the half frame thing. Like I understand why they made the vertical half sensor, all that, but I'd almost rather just be a regular horizontal sensor and shoot it like a normal film camera.
I'm a big fan of constraints on camera, on things. Like I like being locked into a box. Yeah. Like there's certain things I like the challenge of what can I do with the BF? And when that review comes out, you're going to see pictures that are really solid. Mind you, they were shot raw DNG.
And edited,
and edited. But that's the one thing I would like to see in this camera. I would like to play with this Fuji camera. I would really like to take it around town and use it because in my hands, I'm getting good results.
It's definitely a conversation starter, just like the BF or the X100 or any other fancy looking camera. I mean, again, it looks just like a mini GFX 100 RF. It looks sexy. My question is it plastic? Because the dials look almost like really flimsy plastic. I don't know. Or is it metal like most of the Fuji higher end bodies?
Let me check. I have a sample unit. Oh, no. Fuji doesn't send us sample units.
And my question to you is Fuji turning into the new GoPro where there's almost too many models?
No. I'm going to say no to that because
they're more specialized?
Fuji actually makes money. Fuji has a diversified product map, right? They have, because GoPro is literally like one, and then they did the square. They had shitty options, like really shitty.
Well, it's almost the same thing over and over and over again, just in a slightly different form factor, where I feel like Fuji is actually doing completely like a diverse lineup, like you said, different specialized cameras. Like that new wide Evo that they put out. I thought that was really unique with the winding to pop up the print and everything.
Oh, that's a thing?
Yeah, we talked about that on here.
Wouldn't know. They never sent me one. But no, what I think Fuji gets to do, because they've got that Instax money and they got that X100 money, is play around and make some other stuff and take some chances.
Well, I think this is their chance.
But and I think it works.
And $850, is that because of the tariff situation, or is that the price of the camera. Like,
maybe it added if it's made in China, I don't know. I'm sure it's made in China.
$400 though. $400. If this was $400
or $499 at the most,
hit out of the park right away. But $850, I don't know. I think that's a hard ask for most people.
Oh yeah, but again, those Klarna kids, man.
You're buying this camera for the film mode. You're really not using this digital mode. I think you're probably using even like your smartphone for just regular digital vertical photos because it's too limiting. Like, why even use it? But the film mode is a very unique, interesting take.
I like that. I when I saw what it did, I was like, screw the like all the digital stuff. I didn't care about that. I only wanted to know that this is the film mode. I've always said, like, it would be great if you had a digital camera that didn't have a screen and you could then pick what film you load into it, and you had a winder to get to the next thing and you had to rewind the film.
It's really describing this camera. I just don't, I wish they implemented that on modern day cameras. Like, my opinion, like the Nikon ZF. Why not limit those cameras in like a film mode? Give it that second mode where it completely blacks out the EVF and gives you just a rangefinder or something like that, like the X100 does, where you can choose that rangefinder OVF look or the EVF. Black out the screen. Don't let me review the film photos. Give me simulation modes. Do all the stuff that this camera's doing, but in like a real digital retro camera.
Do you know what it feels like, though? It feels like Fuji is able to innovate and iterate fast, right? It seems like we get an idea, we're going to execute it, where Canon has like
forever.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll come out with it at some point because they're a bigger ship to turn.
That, and I think they like to see what other brands are doing and what works. And then it's like, oh, we're going to jump on the bandwagon now. And then it's too late. Then they're behind.
I think it's a super unique thing from a real company, right? It's not Ricoh, it's not Pentax putting out these shitty things. It's like, you know what? We're not going to produce a film camera. That would just be stupid. We're just going to make it digital, but film with a winder, which I've always said, give me a box with a winder. Let's take pictures, and you don't get to see the results until you develop them. And so I find that contact sheet thing is awesome, and you can print that. That's awesome. You can connect to the Instax printer. I mean, they're just building a cool ecosystem. Why they don't like me, I don't fucking know.
I wonder why. I don't know where my Instax printer went, by the way. I used to have one of the square printers, and I have no idea where it went. I have a bunch of film somewhere, too. Hannah, what did you do?
Just wait till she starts hiding shit. Wait till you have a kid.
I do have my Canon printers to the right of me and all the computer paper and photo paper too. And every time she comes to my office, she takes all of the sheets of paper and throws it on the ground. All the photo 5x7 prints that I have, throws them on the ground.
I would get so upset.
It is what it is.
No,
I don't even
You don't
care.
touch my paper. Yeah. And then I'm going to go touch your toys. Are you happy that I'm touching your toys? Are you happy, little girl?
You know what she really likes? She likes the orange lacy hard drives.
Oh, the color.
I've got a bunch of those old ones sitting around, and she always takes them because of the rubber and the color and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm like,
fun.
you can throw that thing around because actually it's meant to be kind of thrown around.
Yeah. I love how those ruggeds, you're like 500 gigabytes.
I know.
Awesome.
I think that's no, actually I do have a terabyte here somewhere. But back to Fuji, I think they hit at the perfect time. I think this is the time to put out a camera like this. But again, I just think it's too expensive. I think
it doesn't have that little flash thing.
And the flash, they really missed the mark on that.
Sounds like it.
I don't know why. It would have been such a hit.
Well, I will try to get my hands on it and do my own review months after everybody else got a hands on.
We'll come out with that review in 2026.
Whatever.
The BF is about to be edited, so that review is in the can, and it's very similar to like our X100 Mark VI review. I think if we do this camera as well, it'll be a similar review as well, where it's very photo driven.
Well, the GFX 100 RF, I'm going to get my hands on it, and that's the medium format RX, the GFX camera.
Yeah, it's the RX 106, but with a medium format. It's combined with the GFX 100.
I can't wait to. I love, like I said, I love the challenge of being locked into a box.
And what Fuji has always done right is the appeal, the sexiness of their cameras. Like, I just think they're such beautiful cameras. They do that right.
In it.
I just want to have sex with the camera.
I just want to rub it all over it.
If only that lens came out and had this nice big giant hole.
It has a very small hole.
Oh, good enough.
It's a very tiny lens, it looks like. That's what she said.
Yeah, 10.8 mil 2.8 lens on this. It's probably a plastic lens if I had to guess.
It looks like a piece of shit.
It's like they're Instax lenses. It's funny though that they wanted to match that disposable focal length of their quick snaps from back in the day.
I could totally see them going after the influencer market on TikTok for this, and those influencers promoting this, and the people that watch those buying it. That's the model. It may not work for us. It's not how we buy. It's not how we learn about shit, but it is how every kid today is getting exposed. They'll find someone who's not a photographer and, give them the camera, and they're going to go around and be like, tink, tink, look what I do. It's got a winder. Oh my God, I can get a light leak. I can do all this shit. And then all of a sudden, these other people are like, I got to have that.
But I do think the X100 I think that's such a big hit because it is a great camera, and that looks also very sexy.
Well, they
it's
run the
best
gamut.
of both worlds, and it doesn't break the bank. Where this one's like, $850, it's a big ask. I don't know. You're not going to have every single hipster running around with an $850 toy camera.
I ordered 3.
Well, you're Jared Polin.
Do you know who I am? I go to the Gordon Parks Gala.
You're legendary Jared.
Legendary Dan.
Self-proclaimed.
Dapper Dan. You won't see me on the red carpet.
Yeah. You thought about it.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, I'm not
The
waiting
funny thing
in a
is,
line.
I told you, I'm like, I guarantee every one of those photographer knows your name, though.
Yeah, well, a lot of them came up to me to say hi.
Yeah.
Because I'm very important in that world. That particular world, not the gala world with Anna Wintour. It was not the
Devil
Met
Wears
Gala.
Prada, man.
Never saw it.
Really?
No.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Let's wrap this thing up. I got work to do. You got work to do. We all got work to do. All right. Anything you want to add before we leave?
I'm just curious what you guys think about the Fuji X Half. Is it too expensive? Is it a camera you're buying right away and pre-ordering? Is it a gimmick? Let us know your thoughts. Text us at
313-710-9729.
Look at you.
313-710-9729. I still have my note. I've had
There
this
you
since
go.
the old factory.
Oh, you have.
Yeah. It stays on my desk in a place where I can find it quickly.
But you usually don't find it quickly.
It's my organization, Stephen.
Oh, I know.
So, all right, guys, episode 152. Thank you very much for listening. Jared Polin, Photos, Photo.com. See ya.
Bye.